Morning, everybody. Just to give you a bit of a heads up, a full detailed software demonstration of APS is always a long event. But one of the things that we do and have done successfully for the past 20 years is actually really walk through a bit of a qualification and understanding of what, as a business, that you were trying to achieve. Now, Mark has given us a somewhat of a heads up of your current business. But today, what I thought, with the time that we have, and it's ultimately an objective where you will either say, should we look at the Rec and APS as a second step, or shortlist them. Today, I thought I'd walk you through and show you at a high level, but at also some detail of what we can offer. And I thought I'd walk through from a PowerPoint presentation. And if I've got time, I'll jump into a little bit of the software and a bit of questions and answers. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just sort of jump in. Let's just talk about Rec and APS and how we're positioning in the market. Now, our position, we are solely focused actually for accounting firms. And let's just talk about that for a little bit of detail. In Australia at the moment, as you would probably quite rightly know, there's 14,000 registered accounting firms in the country. And we currently have 650 of those clients. And I'll talk about those clients in a little bit. So our position is not so much at the small end of the accounting firm scale, it's actually at the larger end. So our tier 1, tier 2 and below firms. So we're talking like that sort of, the top 500 accounting firms actually into the country. And that's sort of where we feel that we play best with. Our clear focus is delivering a connected platform by embracing an ecosystem. So we have a range of software, and I'll explain that in a step further. But we don't do everything for your firm. In regards, we don't do financial planning software or insurance software. You've got other providers that will do that for you. Where we'll create the core applications, our practice management, accounting and tax and others, and then embrace an ecosystem around that. So just wanted to be really clear that our position is that's who our market is for accounting firms, and our focus is actually to be in a connected ecosystem. Our market and who essentially is our clients centers down to this type of client. And I believe that your current firm is exactly that. It's a multidiscipline, wealth management, financial planning. We've got insurance, we've got audit, we've got, the multidisciplined actually firm. Multi-partner, we've always found that that's actually been one of our sweet spots when we've got multi-partner, actually multidisciplined firms, and also multi-location firms. And that's across all through Australia, New Zealand and Asia. One of the prime examples of that would be our largest client in Australia is Findex. Findex are across 2,500 people across 53 locations. They started their business back many years ago, actually, as WHK or Investor Group, as an accounting consolidator, where they had 53 different instances of APS, actually all clients, and they went through standardization work. But effectively what I'm trying to explain to you there is they've moved from a 53 location firm right down to one database with thousands of actually people running APS across the whole of the country. So that's the type of the client that sort of is focused for us. These are just a snapshot. This is just a snapshot of some of our clients. Some of them, and look, I don't flash that screen up in front of you to impress you at all. It's to impress upon you that each one of these firms have been through a review process. They've looked at, the current market, their current suppliers, their current competitors, and happy to say that they've gone through that process. They've actually chosen us. BDO certainly actually is one of our largest clients, as Bentley's and William Bucks. But what you'll also notice there's some regional firms in there, some firms that, have got, some quite large actually holdings in regional locations as well. So we're not just a city focused and tier focused sort of firm. We are certainly, actually, like I said before, that multi-partner, multidisciplinary firm And this is just a snapshot of who we work with. And you probably already know some of these people as well. And as well as, your business as well has already got some APS knowledge actually inside it. So you can certainly talk to any one of these clients. Our solution, sort of coming down into a little bit of software now, our solution is basically centered around sort of what I would call, in my personal opinion, the 3 pillars of an accounting firm. And that is essentially our practice management, our database management, and everything from in there from timesheets, work in progress, workflow, invoicing, data management. That is sort of like that central pin. That also has some extensions into CRM, opportunity management, all those types of, marketing, sort of event management sort of software, which is we can get into as well. We also have that's the first pillar, second pillar, and the third pillar being our compliance angle, our client accounting. And I'll explain our client accounting in a little bit of detail a bit further. But ultimately, that is our client general ledger application, our depreciation schedules, our financial reporting, our management reporting requirements that you have for your clients, and also our tax lodgement program. The end result, while you're doing all the work, one of the things that we need to do is actually lodge all the governed requirements, a full suite of all lodgement facilities actually to the ATO. That's just our core, but I'll explain a little bit further in a little bit of detail. And one of the other focus that we have is, yes, like I said, while we're concentrating on our core applications and being very clear in delivering those core applications to our clients, we are also understanding that, we will not supply every piece of software for what your firm requires. So building out an ecosystem with the best of breed solutions. And I think that's a pretty much our standard line that you'll hear from a lot of the current suppliers actually to you is that connectedness. But I think what I might show you is probably a little bit of an example of that. Currently, APS sort of being central actually into the middle. We have sort of like what I would call 2 tiers of circles of integrations and development partners and strategic partners. And our strategic partners are firms that we've connected to at a sort of a deeper integration level. Firms like Xeppo from a database aggregation sort of tool, firms like Fee Synergy from a data finance and a debt collection and a data management sort of solution. FuseWorks from a point of view of actually how we do our compliance, how firms do their compilation of all their reports. Full scale document management systems, actually from Virtual Cabinet, which has electronic signatures, digital signatures, and portals for clients, right through to iManage. And even right up to things like InfoTrack, being a sort of, especially centered around that anti-money laundering and also your client, and sort of doing searches and data searches and property searches. These are what I'd classify as strategic partners where, we've actually come together, we've got confirmed SLAs with each other, that how we're going to support our clients, our mutual clients together. And we're passing data back and forth actually to databases through APIs. And through joint development work. But on the outer circle, we've also just got integration partners that need to have access to where we can connect up to. And logically, down the bottom right-hand corner, you see there's an ATO. There's also IRD there as well, but that's also for our New Zealand clients. We've also we've got a product called Bank Data, which is sort of where we have the ability of actually pulling data directly from bank accounts straight into our client accounting module. So for those firms that haven't progressed to, cloud software, or they've got their own software, one of the biggest applications that's been around for many years has been a product called BankLink, which was by a firm which Myer owns. And we've got a like-for-like product for that will actually bring data straight out of those banks actually into our general ledger application as well. So you can then do what you need to do, adjustment journals, produce your reports, do your tax returns. Similarly, on the other side is what about those firms, our firms that actually use products like, our Reckon products, or Xero, or QuickBooks / Intuit, or MYOB in the cloud. We've actually got a product that again, from our perspective, from an APS perspective, our vision is to support an accounting firm, and the ever-growing SME software that you have or you've got access to. You've got many clients that could be on Xero, it could be on MYOB, it could be on ERP systems. We've created a product called Sync Direct, which is a full cloud product that actually sits as an intermediary that actually appears and data collects all the data from those products and brings it actually into your client general ledger application, and enables you to then have all the transactions, be able to do your adjustment journal entries, write that data straight back into any one of those files as opposed to working on the files, and then be able to have, some predictive analytics and reporting across that. I'll jump in and I'll explain that a little bit further. I'm just sort of showing you the ecosystem that we're evolving out to. One of the products that we've also become, some of our clients have been working with, is a product called Carbon. Carbon is a workflow tool. There's many workflow tools out there. We've got our own workflow tool. I'll explain that in a little bit of time as well. They're actually got a dedicated full cloud workflow tool sitting, disconnected from everything else. We've got some clients that are using that and they like that tool. Again, that best of breed. We actually have data where they can read data from our database and the clients can use that Carbon. Similarly, we've got some conversations and some build integrations with things like Class Super, and having that data actually pass. We don't do self-managed super fund software, but Class seem to be that best of breed provider. There are others, but these are the types of things. So I think what I was just trying to paint with this picture is sort of showing you that ecosystem. Well, we will sit in the middle of that ecosystem as a contributing partner to that database, and what data we then can go out either through a strategic alignment with some strategic partners and data passing in and out, or an integration product where we've got data flowing in or potentially flowing out to providers. Any questions on that before I jump in a little bit further? Is there anything that I've said in the last sort of 5 to 10 minutes? Anyone, any questions?
James, you're on mute. I saw you shake your head, which I think is a no.
Yeah, no, I don't have any questions. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. We don't need you. Michelle?
Not at this stage, no, thanks.
Okay. So, stepping on. So one of the things that we'll do, and I'll sort of run it through this and I'll jump actually into the software. What you're seeing on the screen at the moment is actually a couple of our clients in New Zealand, how they're running our application, and also potentially what we're rolling out through actually into Australia as well. This is our APS Online. Now, APS Online is a full application streaming service through AWS, actually in the cloud. And this would be let's just call it, this is our browser, and inside our browser, you can see there's multiple things there. In the center column, you can see our APS applications, our XPA or our general ledger. You can see our Practice IQ, which is our digital dashboard reporting with Power BI, our BPA engine, which also is an email alerts tool, which is like a virtual assistant that will actually, you can create a series of rules in your business, and when something like someone hasn't done their timesheets or workflow is overdue, it can actually, send alerts and notifications to people. But what you can also do is, that's great if you're just an APS, but you're also using productivity tools like Word and Excel and PowerPoint and Microsoft Office 365. You've got other applications like sitting in the middle here, like with your Xero, your Xero and your sort of your company formats and and ATO and strategic partners and things like Xplan and all those types of things. And also you've got things like all your emails and your recent documents from your document management system. So what the vision of this full application streaming service is to allow you to be anywhere, anytime and provide you with a platform, a launching platform and integration with these products. So what we also have is one of our major products which firms, our multi-partner, multidiscipline firms all have as well, is what we call Practice IQ. And this is just a snapshot or one of the many types of reports that Practice IQ can produce for your firm. Here, what you're looking at the moment is what I call a firm dashboard report. So this is something for a managing partner or partners sort of meetings where they could be looking at the multiple locations or multiple departments or across the whole of the office and saying, well, what is our utilization across everybody? What is our total input? What's our total fees? And they can sort of mix and match all this data. They can sort of peer it and say, well, I'd like to look at it for a particular month, a particular quarter, a particular year, and see all the trends analysis. Now, it's color coded and color coordinated in this regards, because a lot of the firms like to see that, you know, green mean good and red mean bad sort of type stuff. So they're alerting me to the fact that I've got a potential issue. I have drilling functionality, so great that I can see utilization, but I can drill down through that utilization to see, is it a certain department? Is it a certain service line? Is it a certain partner? Is it a certain staff member? It's either making that productivity go down or up. So all this type of reporting, this digital dashboard reporting, is actually delivered to you actually in what we call Practice IQ. And everything from your tax management and lodgement statistics right through. And I'll take you through a little bit further than that. But this is a great tool for the management of your business as well. As you'd expect, in a multi-partner, multidiscipline firm, there's still, we've got the ability where we've got sort of browser-based or mobile timesheets. Now, browser being yes, I can just, as you can see, I've just got a browser actually opened up, and I've actually just got my timesheets. I've got a five-day week in front of me, and I just open up and add time actually, to particular jobs or particular tasks or things that I'm assigned to, as well as recording my disbursements, if I've got disbursements going back to clients, and as well as recording just my internal time from a productivity perspective. But that's great when I'm sitting in the office and I've got that flexibility to do the timesheets in the office. But I've also got, what if I'm mobile? I've got an audit department, or I've just got people that are outside. We've got mobile timesheets application, which you can download, Android or actually iPhone, have it stored actually and put onto your phone, and the same sort of data I'm sitting in the office, because I've got multi-screens in the office, I've got this timesheet open. If I literally leave, I can still, or if I haven't done my timesheets, I could be on my phone and doing my mobile timesheets as well. Again, it's just a mobility thing. It's a simple thing, but that all wraps up into invoicing, and from an invoicing perspective. But what we also have is inside our practice management module is what we call contract fees. And contract fees is where you want to agree on some fixed billing. Now, I'm not suggesting you're going to throw away timesheets. I'm not sort of saying that some firms are trying to get to where they're trying to remove themselves from timesheets, and their engagement model up the front is to agree on a price, what they're going to invest in their clients. They'll actually put that into the system, into what we call our contract area and our billing area. And then I would simply call it our set and forget billing, where billing could be done monthly, or it could be done at the end of a job, or it could be done, periodically throughout the course of a job. When a job gets to a certain milestone, it then gets invoiced. So though I am talking to you about timesheets here, we've also got a module from a point of view of a fixed fee arrangement as well. What we've also got, so what you're looking at the screen here at the moment, this is our sort of our practice management suite. This is our full database management. Inside this database, we can collect all our, it's all personalized and customized down to the requirements that you need. All data, what I would call static data, coming from, existing software that you're currently using, whether it be, handy software, you can say. This is the data that actually will make the sort of the bedrock of your system. We've got the ability to have all our clients in there, prospects in there, suppliers in there. This is a CRM database. This is not just a client database. So all contacts and all entities are actually kept within here. I can extend and you can see down the left-hand side, I can go through varying things, like I can have all the marketing attributes. I can have all it's a relationship database, so I can connect how are all the entities connected. I have group heads actually in here. I have debtor heads as well. I have partner manager department. So all the things that you'd be expecting on a full-scale CRM database actually sits within here. Everything from my job management, all actually contained actually in the one screen. The one vision that we have of APS is having that central point that we go to get everything about this client is actually sitting here in front of me. What we also have is an extension. Now that we've got all that data in there, we've got a full workflow job and task management solution in here. Now, this can be defined and deployed actually in your firm simply, or with some complexity, depending on how you would like to go. We've got full resource planning and application here as well, where I could allocate, I could have a job, like a compliance job, and a series of tasks with a series of people allocated to it, with a series of timeframes that they have, which goes to to-do lists, which gives them on full resource management. Now, I'm not sure if that's too far for you. I haven't been able to ask you any of these qualifying questions, or whether your workflow is actually more simple. But I suppose what I'm trying to present to you here is I can go either way with this. I can have a simplified workflow solutions that means job in and job out. To me, that's very simple. Or I can have a series of, say, steps that go through and doing allocation. But I wanted to get across to you that the configuration we can go either way from that perspective as well. What we also have as part of the solution is a full project management integrated work papers module. Now, every time I talk about work papers and work papers module, people instantly fall into the, work papers associated with my client accounting, my general ledger. And that's correct. Yes, 100%, we've got that as well. But we've also got, it's a work paper and a project management tool, even for non-compliance type works. Let me give you an example. On the screen here at the moment, you can see one where it says, I've got a small compliance workflow, and I've got all these sort of sub-series of tasks I'm going through. I do a pre-work, a compliance, a review, a checklist, and all the content, the work papers, whether you've bought content from Business Fitness, whether you've developed content your own, we can bring all that actually into this project management tool and run it and have series of preparers and reviewers. But we can also do that for, like I said, non-compliance sort of work papers as well. And that means that from, something like a client onboarding process, you have to go and do maybe an anti-money laundering check. Maybe that you've got to also make sure that they've registered, actually the ethical letter's been sent to the previous accountant, that you've got the engagement letter done. Now that's got nothing to do with running a compliance work paper. It's got to do with a series of tasks and steps that you want to make sure that there's a standardized approach of how you're doing things in your business. So think about, when you think about work papers and projects, think about it as in general ledger, yes, and I'll show you a little bit more of that, and also outside general ledger, non-compliance as well. Just to sort of take you out a little bit, this is just a sort of an example of our sort of some of the work that we've done actually with sort of like our strategic partners in InfoTrack, where right from our database management, we can click on InfoTrack, and it doesn't just launch this sort of browser and actually take you where you can then go and do a sort of a property search or an individual company search or a director search. It actually goes down to the level and requesting what jobs it's allocated to, because there's associated costs with these, writes those costs back to the disbursements area. So for when you're wanting to do your billing, and at the same time, any documentation or any sort of reports that you've got or search reports, it's brought that back actually into the business and integrated it directly into the document management solution, which could be iManage, which could be a network directory, which could be virtual cabinet. That's the level of integration I'm talking about. So what does that mean from the end user's perspective? End user doesn't have to think about it. They do their search, they do what they require, their invoice, their disbursement gets captured, and everything gets integrated. And this is that level of embracing that best of breed ecosystem that we're wanting to do. Now, I'm not sure if you use InfoTrack or not. That's just one example of basically where I think is some value for a firm like yourself. If I change your sort of head out of basically practice management and sort of bring you into general ledger, you'll see that this screen looks like, I haven't left this screen. I'm on that browser. I'm in the database. I need to do the general ledger work. From here, I can open up and do the general ledger work. You can see I've got Cole Investments Proprietary Limited sitting here in front of me. I've got a full scale trial balance actually flowed through. If your eyes are quite good, you can actually see there's hyperlinks actually running down the right-hand side. They're associated work papers, which I could then launch into. They could be PDF documents, they could be Excel documents, they could be one master Excel document with multiple tabs. And they're just your work papers. Difficult to demo on this, but if, in a live environment, you'd have multiple screens. I'd have multiple sort of things open up on multiple screens as well. But that's also the ability, that product that I spoke about before about Sync Direct, where it would peer into, and I'm just going to pick this as an example, a Xero file. You have the ability where I can go into a Xero file with a private key or a public access key, grab all the data at any time, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and bring that into here. So I can manage the client. I can see what's going on. I can run my reports on them. I can do my adjustment journals, actually from a true accounting sense. And those adjustment journals can be automatically written back to that Xero file. And if that's something of interest, I'd love to explore that with you more as well. And that's just an example where I would, just to explain that, this cloud API data integration. Well, we believe we're a provider of choice. We're not going to sit there and say, just use the Reckon products, for your clients. Well, we know that there's multiple choices out there and clients have got preferences. You might be, steering your clients to a certain product, which is fine. But we still believe that there's so much choice in the SME market that we have to connect and be able to help you connect and actually streamline that compliance process as easy as possible. Just to sort of throw on the end, at the end of, after you've done all your sort of timesheets, your invoicing, your workflow, your project management, your general ledger type work, you've got to do tax work. So this is just an example of a company tax return. Again, we've got it's fully integrated database. Data that was sitting in my general ledger can now be automatically moved actually over and straight actually into my tax return here, where I've got all my validation and sort of SBR sort of validation and lodgement capabilities that I normally would happily just sort of go through. Again, high level, just to sort of show you, this is where it actually sits. And similarly, what I'd also like to do is, and probably just finish up, I know I'm conscious of time, I'm sort of a minute over at the moment, but one of the things that we'll be releasing early next year, which will be our workflow application, our full cloud workflow application. You can see it sitting in front of me here. This is just an individual, like let's pretend they're a junior staff member. They've got a series of like Kanban formats where they've got jobs actually going through here. They've got what's to do, what's in progress, what's ready for review. And then when they drill actually into it, when they drill actually into it, they drill down then into that Kanban sort of format and get into their sort of, contextual surfacing. So here I can see that everybody within the group, who's all the entities that we're doing, what's their budget, what's their time track, when's the earliest due date for lodgement, who are the people responsible in our team. And then I could literally launch off and start and go and do that work then, not having to remember, so the system's taking it out. So it was a bit of a fly through as quick as possible, but also you got to sort of, from our beliefs, what we think and what we're trying to do here is, we want to be that sort of firm that actually offers choice for accountants. We think that we work to support an accounting firm. We're always looking at, is there a better way to do something? And it might not be our way, and that's where the ecosystem's evolved. We have a vision that things that we need to do need to be faster and cool for the kids. And we believe that we've got two things that we need to sort of manage. We either build something ourselves that actually improves our core functionality. That's our practice management, accounting, and tax. And that's those three pillars that I spoke about. Or we go and integrate. That's one or the two. We know we are very good at doing those three things, and that's why we have the clients that we have. But we also, to compete in that multi-partner, multi-disciplined, multi-location firm, we've got to present with our, open APIs and connectedness, so we integrate actually between those two. Now, I'm at the half an hour mark. I'm happy to go on forever, but I better stop there and just ask some, ask questions or whatever you'd like to do.
David, James here.
Yes, James.
Two quick questions. What you've shown here today, that's all cloud-based?
Sorry, I can't quite hear you, James.
What you've shown us today, that's all cloud-based?
What I showed you today actually is cloud-based, or it can be on-premise if you choose. Like all the things we do, like we ourselves use our system, we use it in the AWS environment. But and we know there's that there is a need, and some firms do have a need where they don't want to be in a multi-tenanted. They could go to a private cloud, or they could go to a hosting solution.
Okay. And you mentioned integration with Class. Do
Yep.
you integrate with BGL?
Yeah, we're having conversations with Daniel, which is Daniel, the sort of head of guys at the moment. So again, that is 100% is the answer to your question. We have, I deliberately didn't put it up on that screen there today because we haven't actually pushed that data through. So I'd rather tell you what we've got as opposed to telling you some future sort of stuff.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Thanks, James.
Michelle, do you have any questions?
I don't really. I'm a big APS fan, so.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank
Happy
you,
to have
Michelle.
you on the line, Michelle.
Yeah. But it just looks really good compared to what we're using at the moment, you know, just much more powerful. I think we've got an older version that we're using. So you've covered everything really that I needed to know about, but it'd be really good to have a demo of the software at some stage.
Yeah, we'd love to do that too, Michelle. We understood what today was about, and that was to hopefully get us to the next stage, and that's where we'd love to go into more detail.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think that's right, Dave. As you've said, everyone, Sam Allert here. Medora's as a national practice is right up our alley in terms of working with the kind of clients that we like to work with. So very hard in half an hour to get all of the positioning and the presentation across. Hopefully it's helped. But as Dave said, we would welcome any opportunity for further product presentations, discussions, questions, etc.
With no further questions, I'd like to thank Sam and David for joining us today and taking us through the ins and outs of APS and its power behind the business. And if there are any further questions that come forward, David and Sam will certainly get in contact with you.
Fantastic.
Otherwise, thanks everyone for joining us, and I hope you all have an awesome day.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate your time. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.